Hello and welcome to the Cornhusker Cooldown. My name is Patrick Patio.
My name's Joe Mojojoe.
And we have another episode right here. I hope you guys are ready because we made it to LAN.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was a. I know we weren't. I would say that this was not the way we were expecting to do it if we were going to do it, because it was a pretty good 2-0.
Yeah, pretty good. It felt close to in-game, I'll say.
Yeah.
A lot of misplays from us made it a little bit closer, but
yeah.
I mean, let's just start off with game one.
Game one, it was. You had probably your best performance this season. I mean, I haven't had too many times to show it, but
He's on the
we haven't
He's
had
on the
me.
vibe.
First game that we won with me also helped, so.
Yeah, I mean, 11-3. You kind of popped off on it.
True. I think, I don't remember exactly, but my damage was not that bad. I did pretty much the same damage as Isaac, and then that was, I think I did the third most behind him and Preston, so.
Yeah.
Got 11 kills as well, made impactful plays around the map. Yeah, so I think it was pretty good. Preston going 10-2 obviously did very big wonders, and then Isaac on the Mordekaiser did really well in the split push. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one specific play where we snowballed it into an incredibly much larger lead. He caught out Stolen Soul in the top lane, and then you guys find a pick in the mid lane. We go and take Dragon. We go and we push. It was just overall a really good sequence, but it started with Isaac on the Mordekaiser catching out Fury.
Yeah, there was a few good plays. There was definitely I wouldn't say a change. There was a time where NDSU just like had a few times, like 3 minutes straight where we just consistently found another kill, and that was really the breaking point of like a lot of bot lane stuff and mid lane stuff happened, and we got Dragon. And then when we got Baron, we used it pretty well. So. Yeah.
Yeah, the Baron fights. I mean, we'll get in more of those when it comes to like game 2. Maybe one of the weaker parts of what we saw, but overall, what the team showed was a much better job. This is a nice graphic.
This was also the game where we had the most problems on tech.
We did. We had a. It was a rough stream.
It was a rough stream.
But you know
it was 4 streams.
It was 4 streams.
Well,
oh yeah.
It
4
was
streams.
technically 5.
One on the second and 4 on the main.
Yep.
It's
I'm
good.
not gonna lie. I was stressed. Not as stressed as these boys winning out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, really good game 1, and then we rolled it.
The ending was very close.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like we should have ended sooner.
A little bit. There was one time where people thought we could end, but also like we had very little HP and little mana, so
yeah,
we backed off, but we overstayed a little bit, so maybe it looks like it. But yeah, it was the real reason why is probably because of Gwen, because Gwen was just we had to 1-3-1, but whoever's into that Gwen was gonna take a beating.
Lose. Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. I'd say that game was probably one of Elf's stronger performances that I've seen.
Yep.
From him, and then Stolen Soul, always a menace.
A menace.
Just
yeah,
very
the bot
dangerous.
lane fight where essentially just 1v2'd me and Preston.
Yep. Yeah. And the Fury's a good champ.
Yep.
Pretty solid. And then when it comes to game 2, it was pretty solid. We had Pengu Garen.
We did a Pengu Garen.
That was very fun.
Yes. Then we did Jarvan Ari Tristana Rakan. So very good engage comp. I think we found a lot of good plays on engages. Some good gank spot. Didn't really find much mid. And then top lane we just sort of just won out because Garen into Poppy. Isaac doing the Bouse and Law strategies. Dying many times top, but also like always getting a kill or 2 waves plus for it. So
yeah. Yeah. They did a good job of really punishing. I guess we did a poor job of communicating rotations.
But we communicated most of them actually.
Okay.
The idea is even if he does die, it doesn't matter because we're getting more gold than they are, which is the actual thing. So.
Yep. And I just have a quick question for you. Whenever you look into a draft like this, I know this was something that I was thinking about whenever on stream, which is when you're this very committal comp, I guess. All the engages are very committal. Going into a Mumu, Poppy, Milio. Obviously, that is a pretty solid answer for a lot of these. Kind of what is the mentality that you have to go in to like make sure that you guys are actually able to get the engages that you want?
Obviously, you can't just have Poppy standing on top of Jinx or Milio, I suppose. You never really dive onto the rest of the three. But the big thing was that the Poppy wasn't really doing that a whole ton, like just standing on top. And then even then, you already have Garen, Ari, and Rakan sort of wanting to be on top of them as well. So there's just so many different ways that we are going to engage. And like the Garen, the only thing that can stop it is the Mumular. And even then, he has the bonus tenacity from his W. It just creates a lot of chaos in the fights. And then, like, they just didn't have the option to cover all of our, I'd say, angles that we can't engage from. So like a good thing was in the Dragon fight where Poppy missed Star and I was in Tribush. Like I sort of dipped back around, and then when my team was, when my team was going to bot lane essentially, kind of, I walked up in the try, found a little good like side engage onto the Jinx, and then we can go on top of her with Chet on the Ari and getting kills like that essentially. So
yeah,
because once I do get in and I do press R on the Jinx Milio, it's like the Rakan, the Ari, and Tristana at that point can not really miss anything. And there's not a whole lot Poppy and a Mumu can do because Jinx can't really run away unless she has Flash. So
yeah, and it did make the fights, whenever they went well, they did go very well.
yes, they do.
But it very much helped the fact that Preston absolutely popped off this game, 12-1 and 11.
Yeah, everyone did pretty well to be fair. He was the reciprocate. You got a pentakill at the end of the game.
Yeah, he did.
Definitely boosted his kills up a lot. As opposed to a normal game, but overall I think all 5 of the players did pretty well in team fights, finding the right engages, making good callouts mid-fight on who we're targeting and what we're looking for, and
yeah. So it was a pretty solid 2-0. A lot of the things that we've been wanting to see and expecting to see out of our squad, we finally got to see. So was very, very happy to see that. I don't know if you wanted to mention any of these stats in particular.
No, I want to see if you have anything that popped up.
I mean, just the biggest thing is the high damage for Kelpo.
Yes, 1100 over the series.
1100 is
He did 1K
crazy.
over both games, or 1K for both games.
Yeah.
Like 1300 second game.
Yeah, it's over a third of our damage is just him alone.
Yeah, 34.5%.
So just over a third.
But I think KP is another interesting thing because it's, I mean, looking at it, it's 75% essentially for myself, Preston,
and Ben.
Noah,
For now.
who's new support. So yeah, unfortunately we got no first bloods.
We gotta step that up.
Yeah, the mid lane one's a little unfortunate. I rewatched the game and we did throw a wayward REQ, but it is what it is. We get the kill, 1 for 1 anyway. So
Yeah.
and then the Nefiri roaming top game one, we saw in Vision and apparently nobody called it out. So
Yeah. Oh, twice over Vision.
yeah,
But overall, we did end up securing the win,
let's go.
which does mean that we are going to LAN.
Yes, I think I don't want to say surprising, but like after the STSMT series, that one, it was definitely looking like something. It wasn't going to happen at all, right? Because it was not even close, that series.
It was looking bad.
But, I want to ask you actually, now that you've watched multiple iterations of this varsity team, like overall, what do you think the improvement's been in, and like how has it been watching the different teams, I guess, been?
I think the biggest thing, and because I think the iteration with Noah, I haven't seen enough of. It's just this one series.
And you haven't seen comms I think.
Yeah, not at all yet. So the biggest thing that I've seen is the fact that the amount of plays that I can see the setup. If I'm looking at the minimap, I'm seeing all of us rotate to things. There's a lot more committal. It's a lot more together on them versus just the very standard, like, oh, we're going to fight in the super, super natural spots to fight. There's a dragon, then we're fighting.
Yep.
Versus, oh, no, this is a wave. We're going to go on this thing. We're going to force this gank. We're going to force this rotation. I also do think that, Isaac has been performing amazingly.
Pretty well. Definitely during this Garen game, I felt his impact a lot.
Yeah.
Mordekaiser was a little unfortunate because Gwen got so far ahead. So
Yeah. And being a Mordekaiser into Gwyn doesn't always feel great.
it's in side lanes it's not the worst if you're even, but when the Gwen's ahead, it could be really rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it was the last fight, but towards the end of the game, there was a Mordekaiser R onto the Gwen, and essentially I rotated up, and then Gwen was essentially 1 HP when I was able to find her, or when she got out of Mortal. So it's a pretty close matchup, to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I think the biggest things that I see is the number of plays that we're making. It feels like we're what I always like to tell the teams is we don't want to play fair. You don't want to play the game on even playing field. Make it like in your favor, and that's what it feels like we're actually finally doing. We're making rotations. We're playing for numbers, and we're playing on waves, which is something that we've been talking about a lot. That's definitely the biggest thing. So it's hard to know the comms side of things, but it does look like that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we're gonna be going to LAN. That's gonna be exciting, and we're gonna be going to a mini game right here.
Minigame.
Let's go. What is the game you have in store for us this week?
This week we're playing over and under.
Over
or
and under?
technically higher or lower.
Yeah.
You'll see a question, and it'll have basically a stat line of something.
Like a champion win rate.
Champion win rate.
Callie 50%, and I say over.
Yep. You either have to say over or under. Okay?
Is this first to raise hand, or are we just saying
No,
it?
you both.
Or we're both going to do it, and then
Yep.
You'll count us down. We'll do it on.
Yep.
On one.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is over a bunch
I will
of different
point
stats.
at the same time as well. So
Yeah.
I don't
there's
have
win
a
rates.
pencil.
There's
where'd your
LTA
pencil
stuff.
go?
I don't know.
I gave you my orange one.
You did. It's somewhere.
Patrick, did you lose? Oh,
That's
you
okay.
You
I have
lost
a
Joe's
finger.
pen.
I have a finger. It's okay.
Okay, but yeah, this is over champion win rates. There's some LTA stuff.
OTA stuff.
So, are you guys ready?
I'm so ready.
Here's your question one. Okay, so it's set in iron. Does he have a 45% win rate, higher or lower?
Pick rate?
Or pick
rate.
Pick rate, I meant. In iron.
In only top lane?
Only top lane.
Top lane.
What? Is this all regions?
This is NA.
Okay.
Okay. I have my answer.
Okay, I have my answer, I suppose.
Sure. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lower. There's no way it's 45%, right?
It's higher.
52?
In iron, he's played 52%. It's about 52.4-ish% of the time.
Dang.
In iron.
It's in 52% of games, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess that's just really hard.
Is it pick rate? Oh my god. I'd understand presence more.
The website could be weird. It had pick. It could also be presence.
No.
But
I bet it's pick.
the number was higher.
Yeah.
Okay? So 0 points all around. So Patrick, you're still tied.
Oh, wait, what's the score line?
Oh yeah, true.
No,
scoreline-
we're tied. You said we're tied. We can end it there.
The scoreline is 6-2.
Oh, yeah.
I bring it back. I bring
He
it back.
brings it back. He brings it
In
back.
theory, we'll see if we have enough podcasts.
So
I
our
can
next
come
one.
back.
Cloud Drake in LTA Split 2 has been killed 14 times.
Ooh.
Only north or
Just
north?
north.
And
Just
south?
LTA North. Because
Ooh.
Patrick does not watch LTA South.
What do you mean?
Patrick, do you
I
watch
don't watch.
LTA
I don't
South?
watch enough
No.
LTA South as well, but yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy though.
I'm gonna start watching Furious game.
Because you're a Furia fanboy.
I'm a Furious fanboy now. My boy Ayu. All right.
I have my answer.
I have my answer as
In
well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I say higher.
I say lower.
It's lower.
Ooh.
Only 12 were killed.
Maybe I'm too much LCK pilled. You know, you watch LCK. You know the only Cloud Dragon responds.
Yeah. But that makes the score 0-1 in Patrick's favor.
I'm throwing for content.
No.
He's throwing for content. Patrick looks
No,
smug.
he's trying real hard.
Well, hold on. To be
Oh.
fair.
Oops. A slide was missing.
That's okay.
Uh-oh.
I higher.
Higher. Oh my god.
38.
Oh my
8%
God.
pick.
Higher.
Do we know what it is? You want to guess?
Oh.
Oh, is this Jeopardy?
Oh my god. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Do you need to go check on something real quick?
Yeah.
And I'll filibuster a little bit of time. Promoting our 1v1 event that we have coming up May 3rd.
May 3rd.
May
In
3rd.
Meyer Studio at Anderson Hall.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Gonna be right here. Free food. We're gonna have 2 brackets. 1v1 tournament. Gonna be fearless. Fearless throughout the entire tournament.
Yes, just for
that
yourself
is.
as well.
Yeah.
So like half, like not even half, it's like single person fearless.
Yeah. You get a punch card of champions.
Yes. Yes,
So.
you do. I know there's about a little under 20 people right now signed up.
Come on.
We got Jake signed up.
I saw the next one.
Okay.
Okay,
It should be fixed.
this is Project Varus, right?
No, it's just Varus. I just
Well,
wanted
yeah,
to,
yeah, but this is Project Varus's.
Yeah, this
icon.
is Project
In-
Varus' icon.
is
This
this
is Varus in bot lane,
No.
Diamond and above or just
diamond and above.
Diamond and above. Okay, that actually
I-
makes a difference.
Well, it's a
Actually-
diamond plus on the website I was using, so diamond.
Diamond plus would be diamond and above, yeah.
5% ban rate.
I have my guess.
Okay, I have my guess.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's no way Diamond players ban Varus, right? Or Diamond Plus, because they all ban one trick, so they ban OP meta shit, which is never Varus.
It's lower. So it's 1-1
Okay,
Ooh. Okay.
as a Varus player and as an AD carry,
because he has a bow.
you never ban the stable picks, as well as say. You ban OP, you either ban Draven, because he's Cancer, you ban Samir, because she's Cancer, you ban super OP stuff like, I would say like, really strong Kai'Sa metas or Xayah metas as reals, or you just ban off-roll, because you don't want to play into a Vanguard Kha'Zix one trick, so.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But the score is 1-1.
Or you don't want your support to play Yuumi. That's also a very common sentiment.
But what if you had Patrick on your team?
Then you just ban Yuumi anyway. What?
No, I'm not gonna pick Yumi. What?
Or,
Oh,
hear
yeah,
me out,
pick Yumi.
you picked Yuumi for Patrick.
No.
Is that mechanically too difficult though?
That's crazy. What is this slander? What is happening?
But our next question.
Over under Patrick's age.
That's crazy. That's actually.
All I know is you're just gonna put over, no matter what the number is.
Over under Asol's age then.
But we have Xin Zhao in LTA Split 2. His win rate, is it 25%?
North?
Higher or lower? This is always no.
Who's played Xin Zhao, bro?
I'll give you the hint. Xin Zhao has been played 8 times within the last 3 weeks.
This is an Audieland jungle. This just screams Audieland, by the way.
I have my answer.
Or the last 2 weeks.
All right, I have my answer as
ready.
well.
I'm ready.
Okay? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
We
So
both
you
say
both say
lower.
lower.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's higher.
What? Pick?
Wait.
Go back?
Oh, did I put win? It was pick rate. My bad.
I would do pick rate. I would do higher for pick rate, I think, but we'll just say no points.
No.
No
Yeah.
points? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
You
still
don't get
1-1.
no points.
Yeah.
You
So
don't
meaning
get no
this.
points. I would have said higher too if it was bigger.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, Patrick.
I
Xin
would've,
Zhao,
I
meta
would've.
jungler, also like a dog jungler, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So what we do? Actually, Nefiri is the dog jungler.
Oh my god.
So
Are you going to say who that is?
that's B-Boy. That's
course.
Shopify Rebellion's AD carry in fantasy. In this last week, did he have 10 or more points?
Who they play?
Or did he have 10 points or higher?
Oh gosh,
Shopify-
no, be
Shopify played against some bad teams, if I remember.
I could look that up for you.
No, they didn't.
I thought they played
did.
Dignitas.
I think they also played C9 though, didn't they?
No, they did not play C9 this week.
Who did C9 play?
I thought C9 played Disguised.
They played Disguise
Oh, and Dig.
and Dig.
And that's why I got
Yeah,
so
if
much with
if
Loki
I can at
and
least know who they played
Thanatos.
against.
No, wait, that's cheating. No, don't give him that
What?
information.
You're also getting
You
the
also
no,
get the
who-
information.
No, but that's not. It's gonna be less to me. So it's gonna give him
What?
more information than it's gonna give me information.
It was Fly and Lions.
Okay, I have my answer.
Oh yeah, I have my answer.
Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They hard lost to Lions. Remember?
7.7.
That's
12 and a half.
He actually scored 12.5 points.
B-boy, let's go. I love B-boy.
I'm not a big boy fan, by the way. That guy sucks.
But
I am.
that still puts us 1-1.
1-1. We're
It's
doing
just-
great.
Wait, is that the last one?
That was the last one.
A little scuffed.
That was a little scuffed, but that's our mini game this
That's how it works.
No tiebreaker.
No tiebreaker.
Do we give
this
each
week.
other? Do we both get a point then? Or
I
like-
want another point. Give me another point.
Sure,
Okay, so
Patrick.
7-3.
The score is 7-3.
Yeah. More points.
Also, something funny, right? So I went up 3-0, and then you won 2 games, and then I won another 3 consecutive games to go 6-2.
And now it's 7-3.
Now it's 7-3.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna win the next 3, and then you win 2, and then I'll win.
What? That's just not the pattern.
Patrick, we
Yeah,
also.
no, but this was we tied, so now it flips. Perfect.
What are you talking about?
It's gonna be
That's not how.
perfect.
That's not how.
Yeah, because
this-
it went 3. It went 3, 1, 3 tie, and it's gonna go 3, 1, 3.
No, it was 3-2. 3.
Oh, 3, 2, 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
so
mean, if you want to take one of your.
How many more weeks do we have, Patrick?
Okay, so we have next week. We have the potential LAN episode,
Yeah.
which may or may not have a mini game as well. And then we have the post LAN one, which
Yep.
will just be a LAN recap essentially.
Yep.
And then we could have an end of season one.
And season 2 finale.
Yes. So
So 4. So
4 with the possibility that one of them won't have a mini game because
So Patrick could technically tie it. That's the relatively if he keeps winning.
he'd have to win all of them. And more importantly, if we do a mini game, and if it's a free for all, at LAN, Patrick would have to beat the other 4 people in the podcast.
Yeah, Patrick can't lose. That's where we're at.
Man,
Winner go
CCL's
home.
looking real interesting right now.
It is 7-4. The loser.
No, 7-3.
Yeah, 7-4. You heard it
7-3.
here.
Oh,
You
yeah,
heard it
my
here
bad,
first,
my bad.
folks.
It's 7-3.
It's predicting the future. It's what's going to happen
so-
next week.
Yeah.
At the end
Sure.
of the day, loser has to do a punishment.
We don't know what. We don't
We
know.
We don't know who's going to lose.
We don't know who is going to lose.
Or
we also
what the,
don't know the
we
punishment.
don't know the punishment yet.
But we all are leaning to milk run.
we don't know the punishment, but it's the milk run.
Yeah, it's the milk run. And if you want to come watch the milk run, more info on that later.
We will announce when it will happen on the podcast.
Yeah, when and where.
And where.
And if you want to bring your own milk,
Well, we won't be giving you or giving Patrick
yeah, we wouldn't.
milk.
We won't.
We're gonna have a specialized milk for you.
Yeah. Whoa.
But
I don't. But
turtle milk. You know?
if you want to bring your own milk to sort of
What are you doing?
memorialize Patrick, of course, for doing this, you can.
In solidarity.
In solidarity, of course.
Yes.
But
So we had some interesting games in CCL last week.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, well, I mean they're pretty cut and clean.
Yeah.
SSMT2 at Augustana.
Yep, NDSU.
That's crazy. I've never would have seen that coming.
Hello. We're back. It's been a couple of days for us.
I have the same shirt on.
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't.
But it's only been a couple seconds for you. Something happened to my mic last time.
It died.
So we have to. It died. It did things.
It did die. My mic was fine.
Yeah, his mic. Whatever. Sure. Whatever. But we're still here, and this next thing that we have coming up is player rankings, which we're just gonna jump right in the top lane.
Yep.
I think.
These are the players that have qualified for CCL LAN. So
Yeah.
nobody from ISU, and nobody from NDSU JV who might probably make the list, but is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Top
But-
lane was pretty cut and clean. So.
Yeah, I think we both agree that Isaac Wolf is probably the best top laner in the league right now. He's performing very well. He has very aggressive picks, and he is always a strong point on the team.
Yep. Fuyu, kind of the same thing, has those picks that he always likes to pick. The Cassante is one I always look out for. He will yield. And then like Dreadfulness, that's okay.
He's
I know
full
he's
of
got
dread.
I know he's got a solid Cho'Gath. But yeah, and then Adsal is the worst.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I do think that it's hard for me to put anyone above anyone else other than this order. At the same time, someone like Atsao was able to like hold his own versus Wolf. In a way, he was able to make an impact in the game.
Yeah.
So all of these players,
He still was down probably like 2K gold, but
Right.
you know,
but doing what they need to as top laners.
everyone just has a little bit more, a little bit too much for you to justify even like
Right,
thinking
yeah.
about it, I think.
to put anyone else. But next we have jungle, which has the most variety, except for one person in particular.
Hey,
3 weeks jungler.
It's Joe.
3 weeks jungler, and I'm still not the worst in the league, at least. I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's. I think you can kind of start us off with Zaddy.
Oh, Zaddy, best mechanical jungler in the league. Definitely has to do a lot more carrying. I know he's obviously the best mid laner in the league, probably, and he plays off a lot. But at the end of the day, his top, his AD, need a lot or do a lot less than the other ones, and because of that, I feel like he deserves to be number one.
Yeah.
I think his champ pool works really nice for what they want. He has all the carries like Viego, and I just think even when Trunk, their mid laner, doesn't do well, he's doing well. So
I guess, and I have Tankize, which I think that the biggest standout for me is that he has some performances that are above and beyond, and his job is
very defined.
very defined. It is. You have to get Momo ahead.
Yep.
If that does not happen, you have lost the game. And because there's I'd say a lack of tools on that team, that definitely means that he has to perform, and he has, especially leading up into the LAN.
Yeah, I have Tankize third, but
Yeah.
green guy.
Green
I
guy we
have
both
second.
have right under Zaddy.
Yeah, I just think he's a very, very consistent player.
Yep.
Has probably one of the better champ pools in the league. I think he can play both the supportive types of Sejuanis or Skarners, and then I've seen him play really good Gwen and stuff like that. So I have him second for myself. I think NDSU in a whole has like a lot more consistency, which makes him look a little bit like he doesn't need to do as much. But at the end of the day, he's still doing a ton for all of his lanes, especially in that mid to bot. So
Yeah, I think it's a classic scenario of a competent jungler who's just on a solid team. It's like you're gonna look good, you're gonna be able to do your job. It's not gonna be that complicated.
yeah,
Playing Skarner, playing those, but still, you have to know what you're doing. So
Yep.
pretty good there.
the reason why I take Tankize third is because you say he has to get Momo ahead, and that's all he has to really do. So let's be fair. He doesn't really need to do much else in the theory, right? So like comparing to me, I can play towards any three of my lanes, and we don't necessarily win only through one lane, right?
Right.
So because of that, you have to change the game plan per game and maybe mid game. But in his case, he doesn't really have to think. That sounds harsh, but he essentially can do very similar things every single game.
Yeah.
And I would also say Momo is a really good AD carry, and getting him ahead might be also a little bit easier because of that.
Yeah, I guess that my only response to that is the fact that everyone else also knows that that's their one game plan.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to, it's sure you have one thing that you have to do, but now they also know that's the one thing you have to do. So now you have to be creative versus like, I can go top, I can go mid, I can go anywhere. That gives you more options to play through. But overall, I'd say that these three junglers are relatively close.
Yeah, and I think overall, from 1 to 4, it's the closest
Yep.
of the 5 roles that we have. So
Yeah, and I think probably one of the places that has the biggest difference is the next lane. which is mid
Mid
lane.
lane. Trunk is just better.
Trunk. What's in my trunk
You
is.
guys just did the same one.
Yeah.
Same one.
It is.
He is him.
Yeah.
Trunk is him.
Yeah. Well, him is him.
Yeah, him is him.
And
Trunk is trunk.
Trunk is.
Has
is the
bodies in
guy.
his trunk.
He's number one, by far, out of all mid laners in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, Grandmaster peaked, plays in NACO OQ, probably plays for a few other teams, or
Yeah.
at least another team is up in the ranks.
Mhm.
When he carries, or when SCS Antique wins, it's usually through him. When they did beat ISU, which
Yeah.
is their only loss of the season, and it was a solo carry from Trunk.
Yeah.
And then him feels pretty easy to put number 2 as well, because he's also like, last semester NDSU can only really play through their bot lane most of the time, and
Right.
now they have a much better option in the mid lane, and he has showed off multiple 20 kill games at some point. So
Yeah, the Mel's nasty. The Mel's nasty for him. Next up being Gold Card Enjoyer. GCE. Pretty solid performance. I think we want to see more out
yeah,
of Jet. But
I think he's had a slump, but at the end of the day, he shows a solid baseline.
yeah, once he gets
especially
out
out of lane. I think.
out of lane, all of a sudden he starts to get into a more of a rhythm every single game.
Mhm.
Which actually, funny enough, I think that's like the inverse of what it used to be. I think it was before in lane he was pretty solid, and then it would kind of get out. Now it's kind of flipped. And then last,
Thunder Spartan.
Thunder Spartan.
He does okay. He doesn't really carry games. I feel like when you have, he has Melmo and Fuyu, who's the 2 main carries, and Tankize, to be fair, does a decent amount for the team. I think he needs to essentially not lose.
Yep.
And I mean, he does that well enough usually, but he doesn't really wow me in any particular way. So
Yeah, no, I'd say that's fair. I think that's a pretty solid. But overall, I do think this one just has the biggest spread, but it's just very bottom focused with what's in my trunk.
yeah,
Quite a bit ahead of everyone else. But another large spread is ADC.
yeah, a little bit. It's sort of like a
It's
1-2.
the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously NX Compton, a super low-ranked player compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's hard to put him above. He hasn't really shown, or he hasn't shown anything really. Especially, like you look at the game, sometimes he has good score lines, but then you watch the replays and it feels like he isn't really contributing much outside of sometimes getting kills. It's usually his support ensuring that he doesn't lose lane, and then his mid jungle winning the team fights for the most part, and him grabbing a few kills here and there. So
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And then Kelpo in third. I guess we're going bottom up for this one.
yeah,
Uh,
just starting off. I think we start off with like the really obvious ones that we
I guess it's fair. Yeah.
both knew.
But Kelpo, I think I'd be hard pressed to put him below MX Compton. I'd also be hard pressed to put him above Chanter or Melmo.
Yeah, he isn't. Rank wise, he's pretty much alongside them, like
Mhm.
within the 200 LP usually. All of these 380 carries, but usually you just when Kelpo plays against them or plays in CCL in general, he doesn't show off the performances that the other 280 carries have,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit disappointing for our expectations for him. But yeah,
I think the biggest difference is the leads that Melmo and Chanter, whether it's through their team or through their own play that they create for themselves, versus Kelpo can carry when he's in a position to carry.
Yes.
When Preston is in a spot where he has the lead, he can navigate that. He usually does pretty well.
like I just don't see like a Kelpo 2v2 and killing like Chanter or Melmo or even like a Dragon Slayer from ISU type of stuff.
Right.
I just when he gets leads, it's usually through jungle help or just cleaning up fights and team fights in that sort of early to mid game type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has good. I think he has really good CS numbers, so that's something positive for him. But
But now we have the top two.
Chanter and Melmo.
I think probably the closest out of all of the rules, Chanter and Melmo. I feel like we've been talking about them for a couple of semesters now, at least since last
This
semester.
is Chanter's second semester.
Okay, well then,
At least in the varsity too.
since last semester then, because obviously they made it to finals last year, and then Melmo has been a staple in CCL for a while.
Yes. Chanter, I almost put him first. I know he's a really good AD carry, and I like his champ pull a lot. I think the biggest slight on Melmo is his champ pull is a little bit odd. I think.
Mhm.
I think like saw it in the semifinals last year. He did the Quemado twice. Definitely did not do a ton on that. And then he has the Twitch, and he's a pretty good Twitch player, but that's also like doesn't necessarily work to all team comps.
Right.
And yeah, there's just overall weird picks. He doesn't have a staple like a Varus or an Ashe or a Jinx per se. So
Yeah. Which I always enjoy it more when Melmo's on the more standard champions because I think he also pilots them very well.
Yeah.
And I don't think that his team always plays around the interesting picks the way that they need it to. But still, considering all that, I think that Chanter is just surrounded by so much more talent.
He has a lot better teammates, and it shows. And then when Momo doesn't do well, they lose. So
Yeah. And they've been, they're first seed.
Yeah.
So, the fact that
they tied for first seed.
But yeah. So, I think pretty to be expected. And last but not least, we have support. Which
Sorry, Noah.
No, you played one series, so
You're also just ranked lower than the rest of them.
by a decent chunk. So
Yeah.
that was that's not that surprising.
Yeah. It's no slight to him. It's first semester playing support. A similar position of me where I think if he's been on support for a while, I think I'd at least look at it in a different way. But in that idea, I think there's not really conversation. And Brewski from DSU is obviously third for me. It's like in my mind similar to Thunder, where he's like kind of just needs to not lose the game per se. He needs to just do a very solid job of doing one thing, is protecting Melmo. So
No, I'd say that's the same thing. If I'm remembering right, this is also a little bit of a step up from last semester
I don't remember
for
that.
DSU, but still not as much as I think.
Was it Sacred Convention?
I think so.
Yeah, that sounds
Or
right.
was it their mid laner? I don't remember. I think it was Sacred Conviction.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Melmo paired up with like an elusive with a Fraudin, like one of these two.
True.
That they are more on his level. They'd be able to roll over a lot more games, but I don't think that it's any much of Brewski's not a sloucher at all.
No, he does well, and he does his job pretty well. But I see you have elusive over Fraudin. So.
I do. I guess I want you to make the more. I think Fraudin is the more easy case to make for first.
Highest ranked player going into LAN. Best bot lane in the league is NDSU, I think. Plays pretty good enchanters plus prom. I think he's been incorporating some other picks, but hasn't been really forced to yet. So I just think overall that the support makes a big difference in this bot lane, where Chanter by himself maybe doesn't inherently get ahead. I think after playing against him, I think Front helps a lot with that. So
yeah, and I think that's actually the reason why I put elusive above Fraudin, was because of how much of a difference the support makes in the bot lane. And on SDSMT, MX Compton is
worse.
He's punching above his weight. Like he is punching above his weight by a significant amount, and I think a lot of that is due to elusive really giving some solid support.
I do think the way to see it for me though is like elusive is trying to actively make sure they don't lose, or Front's like trying to make sure that they're getting ahead.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that getting ahead is a lot more valuable to the NDSU team.
So Joe thinks elusive isn't as elusive, while Patrick thinks Fraudin's not frauding enough.
No, elusive not being elusive. I mean, that's not.
But yeah, when I see him play Braum, that's like Braum's not an elusive champion.
Yeah, I mean, then that's the other thing is Fraudin is definitely not forced onto the other picks that would make it, I guess, more visible to see the.
Yeah, I think if we either had more time to see these teams play against each other, maybe like double round robin or whatever, or if all of playoffs was best of 5, I think it'd be interesting to see what would happen when Fraudin's forced onto like a game 5 pick per se.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I guess all that's left is like any kind of trends that you're seeing in these standings.
Obviously, NDSU has a very, very consistent. I mean, I have 1/3, 1 first, 3 seconds. It's, if you probably do the math, it's probably the most consistent. I think UNO is very top side heavy, with the Wolf being high, and then everyone else can be like towards the middle to bottom. And then SCSMT is super, super jungle mid focused, where everyone else is like trying to hold their weight, trying to make sure they don't lose the game for them. So
Yeah, and then DSU also quite bot focused. Everything's on Melmo, on the Huskers. Everything's on Wolf. On DSU, everything's on Melmo. On SDSMT, everything's on What's in My Trunk. With like some secondary carries in there. Versus NDSU, it's kind of any of them.
It'd be interesting to do these after LAN. I think they could be shifted up a little bit. So
yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I mean, the LAN performance is going to be really impactful. We're going to be there
26th and 27th.
That'll be a good time at Dakota State University.
Yes.
The Trojans will be hosting it, so should be a lot of fun.
And you know what's after the LAN?
After the LAN,
a 1v1 tournament.
we have a 1v1 tournament that we are hosting here at Anderson Hall, May 3rd. Sign-ups are out now, and they're in the description.
And the Discord server.
And
some posters around campus.
Ooh, posters around campus.
Yeah, you probably saw Joe putting them up.
Come on.
Actually, I made sure that the least amount of people saw me put them up.
Nah, I have my ways of getting the pictures.
Yeah.
You're gonna go in the security cameras? The only
Har.
Yeah.
The only places in Anderson I could find is in the stairwell. So there's one on every one in the stairwell.
Oh, nice.
And then funny thing in Nebraska Hall, right? So imagine there's like the billboards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's one here, and then there's this much gap, and then there's just another one.
And is there two? Is it on both?
But there's a ton in the engineering halls, specifically the older ones, and then there's some in the Jorgensen teaching. And I had my allergies. But Braylon, put a bunch up at the other buildings. So
come on. Well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fearless. We're going to have a high elo division and a low elo division.
Yeah, so you have.
So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have the Joe levels, and then you have the me levels.
There's also going to be food and drinks, free food and drink, right here.
Be there or be square.
It'll be streamed on twitch.tv/Nebraska Esports.
Yeah, twitch.tv/what? Nebraska Esports.
Twitch.tv/Nebraska Esports.
And LAN will be streamed on twitch.tv/Trojan Esports.
Trojan Esports.
Yeah. Yes.
Check.
Yeah. So.
Well.
Absolutely. I think that's all we have.
Patio.
Pizza dough. Oh my God, bro. Joe, up by 5.
Joe, up by 5. That's not even true. I'm up by 4.
It's not, but that's my prediction.
It's
that's my prediction.
Oh, that's the Minigame prediction.
And then, what's in my trunk? Off the top bunk. Looks like a skunk. Huskers in 5.
Huskers in 5.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching.
Is there another one?
Oh, yeah, there is another one.
My God. Okay.
See, this is a representation of what me and Joe have to deal with sometimes.
Well, we had
it's called.
We had Mr. Jaden, the COD game manager, look at you.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about it?
So he translates old manuscript as well. So he says it's not the worst you've seen, but also he cannot read your Varus.
And he can't. He also can't condone that you write like this.
What do you mean I can't condone that I write like this? What does that even mean that you condone?
You should be a functioning human being.
I am a functioning human being.
Right.
This is the representation.
Cornhusker Cooldown. You
should check that out.
You should check it out. Yeah, this is the representation of it. And look, my Wojak looks pretty good. Joe's on the other hand.
The Wojaks are
they didn't have a lot of options for me to use, but
But thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the LAN coming up April 26th, April 27th.
Yes.
See you guys there.
Bye.